2021 marks the 200th anniversary of the beginning of the Santa Fe Trail. Midwest Mini Adventures invites you to come along in this series of videos to explore a small portion of the Santa Fe Trail, this portion beginning along the state line between Kansas and Missouri and spreading out across several cities in Johnson County, Kansas. There are also many public parks along the way with interpretive wayside exhibits to help you retrace this historic journey. But to help guide the way, while visiting these locations, you will encounter a host of enthusiastic historians, archivists, docents, and living history reenactors. There's an amazing number of incredibly well-preserved historic trail locations to visit, and the signs are literally everywhere. It can also be a bit confusing when traveling through an area where 4 major trails constantly crisscross and converge on top of one another. It was in this location in 1855 that the Santa Fe Trail from the point of state line heading west gained national recognition as a territorial road, helping to pave the way for statehood for Kansas. For clarification, this location was not the official start of the Santa Fe Trail. The Santa Fe Trail began in 1821, the same year Mexico gained independence from Spain. While trading goods with the Spanish-governed city of New Mexico was illegal, the Mexican authorities were open to trade. In Franklin, Missouri, William Becknell set out on what would become a very profitable trading mission. Over the years, many followed his example. Locations on the western edge of Missouri found themselves quickly impacted by the new flurry of trade. These included cities such as Arrow Rock, Fort Osage, Independence, and Westport, while Westport itself would later become part of the city of Kansas City, Missouri. In 1823, Joseph Brown and his men were surveying the dividing line between the state of Missouri and the territory to the west. Only 3 years earlier, the Missouri Compromise of 1820 admitted Missouri to the Union as a state and designated the lands to the west as Native American territory. This act set up this western state border as a figurative western border to the United States. Starting at the mouth of the Kansas River, the surveying team carefully measured out and documented the state line heading south. This spot was notated in Joseph Brown's records as being 9 miles south of their starting point. They created a small mound to mark the spot, and Brown documented that a trace or small trail crossed the border at this location. This small trail was created by the wagons of William Becknell's team on their second journey in 1822 to Santa Fe. We wanted to take a moment to point out this wonderful timeline in Weltner Park. There are several featured in this Santa Fe Trail series. Timelines are a fundamental tool to help navigate your way during your journey to explore the past. The Alexander Majors House Museum is listed on the National Register of Historic Places and as the National Santa Fe Trail Historic Site. Alexander Majors purposely chose this site as his new family home along the western border of Missouri. At the time, it was also the western border of the United States proper, as the lands directly to the west were designated as Indian Territory. This historic home was constructed in 1856. To put this into perspective, it was also the same year that the following events occurred. This home truly holds a unique place in the history of the Santa Fe Trail, for it was here that Alexander Majors oversaw the western transportation operations for the firm of Russell, Majors, and Waddell. Having won a major government contract, this firm became the key provider of supplies to U.S. military outposts in the West and Southwest. Alexander Majors was experienced in hauling freight along the Santa Fe Trail. In 1848, on his first Santa Fe Trail excursion, his team made the 1,564-mile long round trip in a record-setting time of just 92 days. Major's home office had a separate entrance for business, and his desk was designed to fold down so he could take it along with him wherever he traveled. Among the many Majors hired to help with his trail business was a boy named William Cody, who in later years would become world-renowned with his Buffalo Bill's Wild West traveling show. William Cody began assisting with the wagon trains at the age of 12. He was also a writer for the Pony Express. The Pony Express was also an offshoot of the Western Trail businesses managed by Majors, Russell, and Waddell. More on this endeavor and others will be included on future videos. Reconstructed on the footprint of the original barn, the current barn showcases an actual historical Conestoga wagon. Larger than the smaller prairie schooners used by many pioneer families, the Conestoga wagons were designed to haul freight. They featured a longer body and a unique curved bottom that helped these wagons carry up to 5 tons of goods. With a personal belief in moral values and a good understanding of how it helped in business, Majors had his employees who worked the trails take an oath pledging not to fight, curse, or drink any alcohol. And they swore not to mistreat the animals in their care. In 1858, just 2 years after having moved into his home, Alexander Majors and his now second wife, Susan, moved away to Nebraska City. Samuel Poteet, Major's head wagon master and assistant, continued some of the trail operations out of the house. Samuel Poteet was also Major's son-in-law, married to Rebecca Majors, the eldest daughter of Alexander Majors. Together, the two would have 9 children while living in the home. In 1833, brothers John and George Fitzhugh chose this spot as the perfect location for their sawmill operations. After importing new millstones all the way from France, the sawmill became a grist mill. Soon travelers chose Fitzhugh's Mill as a stopping place on the Santa Fe Trail. In 1843, one of the first wagon trains, consisting of 125 wagons and 800 pioneers, stopped here before their journey to California and Oregon. The mill changed hands several times and by 1850 was operated by Anthony Watt. It is perhaps Steuben Watts, Anthony Watt's 5th child, who stands out among the multiple characters that operated the mill. As a young boy, Stubbins joined Majors, Russell, and Waddell, making many trips while working for them on the Santa Fe Trail. After the Civil War, Stubbins returned to help run the family mill. Known as the Fiddling Miller, Stubbins and his fiddle helped the mill become a welcoming local gathering place, with music and dances lasting late into the night. Owning property to the south of the mill was Jim Bridger. He was a well-known mountain man and one of the earliest men of European descent to explore much of the northwestern portions of the United States. He became a close friend of Stubbins and visited the mill often. It was amazing to discover that some remains of the original mill still survive on this site. We were able to view the partial walls from several different angles. A thriving town soon developed around the mill, going by the name of Dallas, Missouri, that later became annexed by Kansas City, Missouri. In 1856, the village of New Santa Fe began along 2 of the bustling westward routes of the Santa Fe Trail. It was also, like other locations in this video, snuggled up along the western border of the state of Missouri. In this prime location, the town quickly grew. It had many amenities for travelers setting off for new adventures. Along with shops for goods, there was the all-essential blacksmith shop. Wagons depended heavily on the blacksmith's skills for shoes for their horses and their oxen. The blacksmith was also vital for repairs to wagon wheels and wagon axles. To learn more on this location, we recommend you visit the new Santa Fe Historical Society website. This link and others are included in the links below this video. Thank you for taking the first of several upcoming Santa Fe Trail journeys with Midwest Mini Adventures. Please take a moment to like and share this video, and feel free to subscribe for notifications of future adventures.